Good evening, Scott. Well, the 4 men and 1 woman were found all wearing their life jackets near an evacuation point at the stern of the ship. As far as is known, they do not include the missing American couple. The bodies of the 5 victims were brought to shore together in a police launch. Alpine rescue specialists are working their way along the steep sides of the wreck, trying to peer into cabins still inaccessible through the debris-strewn passageways. Demolition experts blasted 4 holes in the hull today, 2 of them underwater, to gain access and make it easier for bodies to be brought out. As the chaos unfolded, a dramatic audio tape released today seems to indicate that Captain Francesco Schettino fled the ship long before all his passengers and crew were off. The audio tape turns into a shouting match between the Coast Guard and the ship's captain in his lifeboat. Climb the ladder and board the ship, the Coast Guard officer orders. Get on board and report to me how many people are there. All right, I'm going, says the captain. But the next few calls from the Coast Guard went unanswered. Finally, the captain picks up. He says he's coordinating the rescue from his lifeboat. The Coast Guard officer orders him to get back on the ship. Tell me if there are children, women, and what kind of help they need. And then, you may have saved yourself from the sea, but I will make you pay for it. Go back on board. But you are aware it is dark and we can't see anything, the captain says. And what do you want, the Coast Guard officer shouts. It's dark and you want to go home? Get on the bow of the ship and tell me what can be done. The captain refused to return to the ship he had run aground, and today he was questioned for 3 hours by prosecutors on charges of multiple manslaughter and abandoning his ship. After pleas from his lawyer that he not be sent to jail, Captain Francesco Schettino was ordered under house arrest, a decision that is already being widely criticized. Scott?
Al, thank you very much. The size of ocean liners has increased by about 50% in just the past decade, as measured by their gross tonnage. Have a look. In its day, the Titanic was the largest. It could carry 3,320 passengers and crew. The Costa Concordia had a capacity of 4,900. And the largest today, the Allure of the Seas, holds 8,700. How do you evacuate a ship that large? We asked Mark Strassman to look into it.
The Emerald Princess was in Fort Lauderdale today preparing for a 10-day Caribbean cruise. The ship stands 20 stories tall, similar in size to the Costa Concordia. 15 decks carry more than 4,000 passengers and crew. Roughly 100 megaships carry at least 2,000 passengers. That's 40% of the world's cruise fleet. For cruise companies, building bigger ships can increase profits by lowering construction costs by $50,000 per passenger. Michael Cry is an executive with the Cruise Lines International Association, an industry trade group. He points out 16 million people cruise every year safely.
In this case, this was very much an anomaly. It wasn't, the record of the industry has been outstanding for many years.
The international safety standard requires a crew to evacuate all cruise passengers within 30 minutes of an order to abandon ship. It took 14 hours to rescue the last person off the Costa Concordia, which is half the size of the Allure of the Seas, the most mammoth cruise ship sailing today. Maritime lawyer Brett Rivkin says bigger ships mean bigger challenges in a crisis.
I think with those amount of people and crew members on there, you're talking about panic and chaos, which is exactly what the passengers on the Costa Concordia reported happened. And when that happens, then there's disasters.
Scott, we wondered whether anyone had ever put it to the test, gathered 3,000 people on a cruise ship, grabbed a stopwatch, and seen whether they could all evacuate the ship in under half an hour. And no one we talked to today had ever heard of such a full-scale evacuation drill ever being tried.
Mark, thank you very much. Watching the pictures of the Costa Concordia today, we wondered, how do you get a ship like that off the rocks? Well, our research department called Associated Marine Salvage in Miami and talked with Captain Bo Payne. Captain Payne told us a salvage company would first pump out 500,000 gallons of fuel on board because the wreck is in a marine sanctuary for dolphins and whales. Then the salvagers would likely patch the holes and pump out the water. The ship would right itself. The Costa Concordia would then be towed to a shipyard. Captain Payne says it's likely the cruise line will try to return the $450 million ship to service. He did not say any of this would be easy or cheap.